Okay, final one. Well, good evening and welcome back. This is our final night. This is our fourth night. And I'm so happy that you have been with us this whole week for our VBS. This has been our VBS, Jesus the Living Water. And we've talked about all sorts of things that Jesus did with water. We talked about him turning water into wine. We talked about him walking on water. We talked about him telling the water and the wind to stop. We've talked about all sorts of things about Jesus and water. Jesus, the living water, is always the source that we should go to for all of our answers and make sure that we are right with God. I'm so happy that you've been here. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of those who have worked so hard to make this happen. And thank you to all you students. We wouldn't even have VBS if it wasn't for you students. We are so happy that you've worked really hard for the pictures that you've sent, for the projects that you've done, and I hope that you've really enjoyed it and that you've gotten a lot out of it. And thank you to the parents as well for all of your hard work, probably harder this year than usual. So thank you so much for spending the time and making this really, really a special year. So, just to review what we have talked about, what happened to the disciples when Jesus turned water into wine? Can you tell me? They believed that he was the Son of God. Tell me, what happened when they saw Jesus still all of the wind and the waves when he said, "Peace, be still"? What happened to them? They believed even more that Jesus was the Son of God. And what happened when they saw Jesus walking on the water? It frightened them at first, but afterwards, what happened? They believed even more. And these stories that we've been talking about, they've been written down so that you and I will believe even more that Jesus Christ is the Son of God and that he is who we should follow. Our story for tonight really happens two different times. One right at the beginning of Jesus' teaching and one at the end. So let's talk about the first one. It happens in Luke chapter 5. Jesus has been at the Sea of Galilee, standing on the shore, preaching. And then there's so many people around, he asks this guy named Peter that if he could get into Peter's boat and push out a little bit so that he's away from the crowd and they can all hear him. And so he does, and he preaches to them from the boat, and he preaches until he's done. And then he turns to Peter and he says, "Can you put out a little bit farther into deep water and put your nets down for a great catch?" Well, Peter is a fisherman. And Peter says, "I've been fishing all night long. We haven't caught anything tonight, teacher. But you asked me to do it, so I will." They went out a little ways into deep water and put down the nets, and it filled up with so many fish they couldn't even pull the net up. They had to call their friends in their boat and say, "Come out and help us." And it filled up their boat, and it filled up their friend's boat, and there was so many fish that they couldn't even believe it. And then they understood that had to have been a miracle. This must be the Son of God. Jesus says to them, "You've been catching fish, but follow me, and I will make you fishermen of men." And so they did. They went everywhere with him. They stayed with him. They watched him teach. They watched him preach. They watched how he lived. They watched him do all sorts of miracles like turning water into wine. They saw that. They saw him heal the lame man and make him walk. They saw him heal somebody that was blind and could see again. They saw all of these miracles. They saw him calm the waters when he says, "Peace, be still." And the sea just stopped its waves and the wind ceased. They saw all of this, and they listened to everything that he was teaching, and they learned as much as they could. These disciples who caught all of these fish, they believed that this is the Son of God, and they watched him do all of these things through his whole life. And then Jesus was crucified. Jesus was put to death for you and for me and for them. But Jesus rose from the dead. That was a scary time for the disciples. They didn't know exactly what to do or what was going to happen, but they knew that Jesus was alive again. But they went back to Galilee because they had been away. And they went back to the sea and they said, we're just going to go fishing. We don't know exactly what to do right now. We're just going to go fishing. They knew how to do that, and they were good at it. So they got in their boats, and they went fishing, and they didn't catch anything. And then somebody way over on the shore yells out to them, put your nets down on the other side. That might have started to remind them. But they did it. They put their nets down. And they caught so many fish, they couldn't even pull it into the boat. It was so many fish, they knew that whoever that was on the shore, that had to be Jesus. John says to Peter, that's the Lord. And Peter jumps in the water and starts swimming toward the shore so he could be with Jesus. He left the rest of them to pull the fish in. They had to drag it up on the shore. So many fish. Jesus did that at the beginning and at the end. And then Jesus went back to heaven. But the disciples, they knew who Jesus was, and they knew he was alive. And they preached that for the rest of their lives, because they were not just fishermen who catch great amounts of fish. They were fishermen of men. They were going out teaching people about Jesus and his love and his miracles and his power, and that he is the only source by which we can go to heaven. Jesus is the living water. Jesus is the source of everything spiritual that we can possibly need. Jesus is the answer. He is our living water. And this has been our theme throughout the entire VBS this year. I hope that all of these stories about things Jesus did with water helped you believe, and helped you believe even more, and helped you believe the most, because Jesus can take what's plain and make it beautiful. Jesus can calm all of the storms in our life and make it still. Jesus can come to us in our deepest need, and he knows where we're at, and he knows how to help us. And Jesus is the living water that will feed us everything we need eternally. It's been such a pleasure being with you this whole week. And thank you so much for everybody that made this possible. And I hope that as you do your little project tonight, you'll send more pictures. And I really look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Have a great time.
Hey everybody, I'm so glad you're back for our last night of VBS. It has gone so quick. I have had so much fun doing this with you, and I hope you've had just as much fun as I have. All right, so tonight we're going to do a craft about catching a lot of fish. Jesus was preaching out in the boat, and he told them to push out into the deep water. Here's my coloring sheet. You can color it later. And told them to let their nets down, and they said, Master, we've been fishing all night, but because you said so, we will drop it. And they did, and they caught a lot of fish to the point it was going to break the nets. All right, so this is what we're doing tonight. You need some netting, Okay, it's stretchy. You need a blue paper plate. This is going to represent your water. You need a little picture of the men with their net. You need a boat. Now, some of you got this boat. If you don't, I'm going to teach you how to make a paper boat. So if you don't have this boat, you need a piece of paper. I chose green because it's my favorite. You should have a bag of goldfish and then your crayons, okay? So first off, we're going to start by coloring our little picture. So again, while we color, we're going to sing another song. And tonight, I think we'll sing Only a Little Boy David. I like that song too. Only a little boy David and only a babbling brook. Only a little boy David and 5 little stones he took. 1 little stone went into the sling and the sling went around and around. Around and round and round and round, round and round and round. That little stone went up, 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 and the giant came a-tumbling down. See, I got one more little guy to color here. I'll make him all brown. Some brown clothes. All right. All right, so now I have my picture colored out. So what you need to do, first we're going to make a boat for those who don't have a boat. So let me move this over here so you can really see how to do this. And I'll take it a little slow so you can follow me step by step. And this is very simple, okay? All right, take your piece of paper and you're going to fold it in half, just like this. Line up your edges, make this nice and stiff. And then you're going to turn it like this. And you're going to fold it in half again. Line up your edges again. Just like that, okay? Now open it. Okay? Now you're going to make 2 triangles. And this is going to be for your sail. So you're going to pull this point to the middle until it meets the crease in your paper. Make it tight. You have 1 triangle. Now you're going to do the same thing with the other side. You're going to bring it down until it meets. Make it tight. Just like that. That's your sail. All right, so now you got 2 pieces down here. You're going to take this bottom piece and you're going to bring it up just to the edge. Just like that. And you're going to fold it across. Okay, and now you're going to bend it up one more time, up over the sail. And make it tight and give it a good crease. All right, do you see this little piece hanging off and this little piece hanging off? You're going to bend them over the edge so it hugs the other side, just like that. Okay, so now you have 2 bends. Now, to give yourself a good crease on this side, bend it up just to the edge till it matches. That way it gives you a good measuring point when you turn your paper over. Now, pull it back down, flip it over, and bend that up. Just like that. And then you're going to bend it up again. One more time. Okay? Now, this side, do not bend it. I'll push my other bends back down. But this side, you're going to leave hanging out. Okay, so leave them out like that. Now, put your hands on the inside and open it. Open. And when you open, you're going to pull it down flat. Make sure that this is over top of each other on both sides. Okay? All right. Now, you're going to take this part and you're going to pull it up. You don't have to go all the way to the top. You can go about midway, making another triangle. And you flip it, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side, making another triangle. Make sure they meet right here. Okay? Now, you're going to Open it up and flatten it down. Okay, you should have this shape, almost like a diamond. Then you're going to pull this side up again, not all the way to the top, about halfway. Make it flat, flip it over, and do the same thing again. You're going to make it flat and make it equal, make it even. So you should have this little shape here. Now you have this little triangle on this side and this triangle on this side. Grab those two and pull them out, just like that. Now you have a boat. You can bend it a little bit or put your hands up inside and open it, however you want. But now you have a little boat, just like that. So easy. Okay, so you can either use this boat or you can use this boat. You're going to put some glue on the back of your little people. Make sure you get it kind of in the middle. You don't have to go all the way to the edge. Miss Laura's going to use this boat here. You're going to put the glue side right on this sail, so it looks like they're standing inside their boat. Now it's time to go fishing. If you want to, you can put some glue on the bottom of your boat. If you don't want to, that's fine. You can always play with this boat later, however you want, but I'm going to make it stay. And I'm going to put it in my water right here. Press it down good. Now, Mom and Dad, you might have to help your little one to do this part. Your little stretchy net for them to catch their fish. Put a little knot at the bottom. Now, Miss Liz going to push it around. Get it in there to hold. Just like that. Yep. Definitely Mom and Dad's going to have to help you out. Let's make a little knot. Okay? Now, this is the fun part. You got your goldfish crackers. Remember they had caught so many fish that the nets were starting to break, and then they had to ask their buddies on the shore to come on out and help them out and put the fish in their boat. The boats were getting so heavy they were going to sink. All right, so now you're going to open up your net, and then you're going to put your fish inside. You can do a lot. This net will hold all your fish. And if you don't get them all inside, that's okay. Just eat them. All right, so Miss Laura's going to put about that much in there just to show you what I mean. And there you go. A net full of fish. If you had some tape, I forgot my tape, so you can put a little bit of tape up here on the top. And just tape it down like that. Or you can just leave it however you want. And there you go. They caught a lot of fish. I am so excited that you guys have been with me all week. I hope you've had a lot of fun, and I will see you later. Bye.